Hi, David here. I'm at Camp Parsons today. This is the last weekend work party before summer camp starts, and I'm at the Copper City section. Joe's cook shack at the Ranger's cabin is pretty much done, but as you can see, Copper City needs a lot of work. All these cabins have to be finished. Right now we're working on roofing. But they got a lot of these tiny little cabins here. God, there's too many to count. There's just a bunch of them.
Check the top, make sure it's square. We're gonna butt and we'll go from there.
Well, actually, it'll be 2 full sheets.
Hey, watch your language.
Hey, we're changing the plan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then we can
Boss is here.
Alright.
The only one that's critical measurement is the overall length of the roof can't be more than 12 feet.
Yeah.
What's your overhang here
It's roughly a foot.
from face of?
But before you do the back one back
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
snap
Check
it,
your-
make sure that it's not going to be
Oh,
over
well,
12
not
feet.
saying that one.
That's when we can trim it on the back.
Okay. Do you have metal flashing to go
I
over
have
that?
metal flashing on the top.
So you don't want me to pre-cut that back one?
Not yet. We'll wait.
Okay, I'm at the Ranger's cabin at Joe's cook shack, and Sung is pressure washing the picnic tables. Let's go inside. I want to show you guys the mantle. The boys are working hard on the mantle, and they have some timber that was from the old mess hall, the old dining hall right there. And they set it in with some mortar. I'll step back here. You can see what the fireplace looks like. Isn't that beautiful? And up above the fireplace is the New Day reading that Mr. Lamonica likes to read to the boys every morning. Kind of a lot of glare on that. Sorry about that. It's kind of hard to read. Maybe if I move to the side, you'll be able to read it. Words of inspiration to live by. Thank you, Mr. Lamonica.
Well, I obviously went
You alright?
Are we still where you need to be?
We'll give it a trust.
We'll find out in a second.
We're going to have a vote. So I can get up. Okay, we need to move it that way a little. Yeah.
Okay, so you got the top done? Oh yeah. Okay, so you need to move which way? This way?
Just a hair. This way. Right there.
Good thing there's no building inspectors coming.
There we go. Into the end grain. All right, so we need to pull the brace. Cross brace.
This one right here?
Yep, cross brace needs to
Yeah,
go
that
away.
was my coat.
No, just rack it with the other end, the short end. Yeah. Put the short end underneath the pole. No, against the stud, so you have something
Okay,
to
that's
roll
good.
against.
I think we don't have to pull it. We don't have to
you're not pulling the
We don't have
top?
to pull the whole thing off.
Okay.
Tuck it under
Alright.
there next time.
Ready?
Well, I don't know, do you like what you see on the top?
Yeah.
See, I grew up
The tops, we want to nail the top across first, right? Top's all level and even.
And one of you said
Top's all good.
I want to flip that. I can hold it to the top edge.
Get right in the fire.
I'm not that much of a fool.
Hey, Bill, you need to slide those over. They're going to be rolling over towards you.
Oh, thank you.
Now they'll roll over towards Joe.
Dang.
I'll have to move back now.
Yeah, the temperature just jumped about 20 degrees.
It did. Oh, guys.
I think we figured out global warming.
Yeah, right there. Coming in the land.
Yeah, just on the branch.
It does, doesn't it?
Up there. I was gonna say,
My fear is if I get down there like that, I may not get up.
Why do you think I did it while you guys are still here?
remember that?
So the Army itself had an official policy that we were special weapons, or weapons specialists.
So when you were doing it, did you have really long barrels?
I ended up training on a single shot Mauser bolt action, 50 calibers. And it got to the point where during practice in the afternoon, my teeth hurt. I mean my jaw, because if you do any shooting,
Kick really hard.
oh yeah, the kick was incredible, and there was no soft butt play.
What were those ones we shot?
Now the reason,
30-06, yeah.
yeah,
They probably have a
30
light
caliber.
load, though. They don't put a full
light
load
load.
on those.
But the 50, the reason they were
30-06.
well,
The loads?
Yeah, the loads are a lot lighter. They don't put the full
the
load.
reason they were experimenting then with different rounds. The reason they picked the 50 is that it's got a flatter trajectory for a longer distance and a real knockdown power. You get hit with a 30-06 or a 5.22 in the shoulder, even if it goes through, it's a small hole. You get hit with a 50 caliber and you're missing the entire shoulder.
Your shoulder goes away.
And the other thing is we practice with different types of rounds. So armored piercing, which has a bigger kick, by the way, the armored piercing, because of the propellant
Velocity.
inside. But anyway, if somebody would say, well, that's a bunch of garbage, I never heard of a 50. From the training that I went through, we now have the sniper rifles, a Barrett 50 caliber, semi-automatic.
So what kind of range were you?
If you could not hit a melon, we called heads melons. So you have to remember the time of this, okay? If you saw guys in the airport who had combat infantry badges, people spat at them. Remember that?
Yeah.
So if you couldn't hit a melon at 1,000 yards, you couldn't shoot. Wow. But the problem was, there are no single snipers. Even what's his name? Who's the Marine Corps sniper? Chris, the one who died of
Hathcock?
Gunny Hathcock?
Gunny Hathcock. Even he had two partners, because you have a spotter.
Yeah.
And like I've been looking for my notebook. I found my Ranger book and stuff. But everybody had a notebook when you practice, because the time of day, the temperature, everything
They're going to town,
comes
aren't
into
they?
that. And you needed a spotter because
Yeah, a lot of chatter.
you have to triangulate. So even though you might be close together, you have two different azimuths when you're shooting. Well, now today it's all built into the scope. So you go in and you turn the scope. You turn the scope on and it says 1,155 meters. And they even have a computer now that says area temperature is 95 degrees. The hotter it is,
Does
the
it
more
adjust
around
the scope with so the crosshairs
Well,
are at the target?
yes, I think it does.
So that way you just put the crosshairs on the target and it automatically adjusts.
Right. It's much easier. Like who holds the record? The Canadian holds the record for what, 2,100 yards or something like that. That's well over. Yeah, you can't even see that far. Oh yeah, they have it on video.
And they hit a melon-sized thing.
He hit a rebel, a couple rebels in the desert, or a guy that ducks behind. I've seen it on
With really high-powered binoculars. You got him.
well, or like they use armored piercing now routinely. So a guy will duck behind a concrete wall, then you see an explosion in the concrete wall, and then you look in the back and all you see is hamburger.
Wow.
To be used that way.
But they were experimenting with stuff like that. But the problem is the average, remember I'm no general, but the average combat takes place within like 30 yards, even in the desert type of thing. You know, you come over a bridge or something like that.
Because you're using those little M16s, right?
What do you think of the M16, Joe?
I don't think much of it at all, because I spent most of my time with an AK-47.
Isn't like an M16 like a 22? They're not very powerful. They don't shoot very far.
One of the problems with them, the balls are small, so there wasn't any stopping power. So you would hear these stories from guys that came back from Vietnam saying, I emptied the entire 20-round clip and this guy kept running. Well, it takes a few seconds for your body to realize it's been shot and the heart stops pumping and things like that. Type of thing. But
So just the force of the bullet with a bigger barrel pushes the guy back?
Oh yeah.
I guess I'd rather be shot. If I was going to get shot, I guess I'd rather be shot with one of those.
Yeah.
Lights out immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, the AK-47 has been supplanted by the AK-74. But the AK-47 was invented by a tank mechanic from Russia, Kalashnikov. Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, he just passed away. He was 90-some years old.
Kalashnikov was a tank mechanic?
He was a mechanic on T-34 tanks in Russia, and he got wounded. And while he was in a Russian hospital, he liked to tinker. And he had access to Hitler's first semi-automatic weapon, which is where we get the assault rifle.
Right, right.
See, this is like the Me-262 airplane. The German army could have had this assault rifle in 1940 and 41. It would have been the most high-powered, rapid shooting rifle in the world, right? But Hitler didn't want it because he said it was a waste of ammunition. Well, it's the same reason that we had the M1, and it took so long to get the M1 from the 03 because MacArthur at the time was the chief of staff, and he didn't believe in giving soldiers ammunition to waste.
Wow.
Whereas in reality, in firefights, you throw everything out.
Although
yeah, so
the problem with that, with the
Kalashnikov
M1 was the fact that it made that ping noise when it was empty.
Well, the M1, yeah, that was and mine does too. As a matter of fact, if we're all at my house, and I hope we get there next fall, I have a picture of my son Michael shooting with one of the M1s that he and I got from the NRA shoot. And I call it last shot because he's just like this, and you see the round coming out, and right behind the round you see the clip. And I asked him, I said, how many pictures? Well, whoever took the picture had an automatic camera. Yeah. And so when he pulled the trigger, he just went click, 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 click. But I've got it in a frame in the kitchen.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Most people have other pictures in the kitchen, but I have that.
You have a weapon.
Well, I have
discharging.
I have mine, and he has his.
That's good.
Were you here last week when I was here, right? I told you.
I missed all the stories.
Both of our M1s were issued in January of 1944. They were made in 1943, and they went to the 1st Division in England.
Wow.
So they were obviously on Utah Beach.
Huh.
So, and he has one, and I have one.
Where do you get him? Where'd you get him?
When he was shooting on the NRA World Championships in Ohio, he was one of 100 gold medalists. So they gave him permission. You could buy weapons, but they gave him permission to search through them. And then since I was the official photographer, we talked him into letting me go. The Coast Guard rifle team, with a couple laptop computers, we must have gone through hundreds of weapons, of M1s. We were checking the choke, the head space, and the chamber and everything, and the lambs and grooves, the lights. And when we found one that was good, then we checked the serial number because I wanted something from World War II. And it took us 3 or 4 hours and we found 2.
Good for you.
So you can still get M1s.
Hi, Sleepy.
We are actually taking our meals in the new mess hall this weekend.
Smile, gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's hard to do this morning.
Yeah. The new tables just came in. They're in those boxes over there. Notice they stain the concrete. Let's follow Mr. Lamonica. Start eating now. Yeah, check that out. Oh yeah. at the Camp Parsons Museum. I just noticed they had all these totem poles here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 standing, and then we've got 3 on the ground. He doesn't look too happy laying on the ground. It's a bronze statue of a Boy Scout. Wow, Camp Parsons, 100 years in 2018. That means the Boy Scouts acquired the camp in 1918. Let's take a look inside. Oh, we have a visitor today. Here's Mr. Lamonica.
Good morning, Mr. Goldberg.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for a good weekend. Look at this museum. This is incredible.
Won't you come inside?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, look at the Indian artifacts and the Hudson Bay blankets.
Look at this headdress. Here's an arrowhead that was found here by Troop 474. Beautiful beadwork. Oh, just lovely. Here's a Hudson Bay blanket. Some very interesting masks here. There's a bear dance mask. Oh, I know a rock star that used to look like that. Was that Alice Cooper? This must be the Bill Dennis kissing mask. Here's a picture of Ted Smith from 1921 doing a carving.
Notice the tradition of the merit badges on the sleeve.
I guess that was a day when there weren't that many merit badges, because now there's so many merit badges it would take 2 sleeves. Here's a typical uniform from the early Boy Scouts. Notice the likelihood, or not the likelihood, but the likeness of a World War I military uniform. Even down to the leggings. And this uniform's from 1919. These 1919 patches are no longer available. There's none known in existence. This is a repro. This is Mr. Parsons, the man who donated the property for the camp. And that is the Silver Beaver Award given to Mr. Parsons in 1931. This is Major Ingram. He founded the Boy Scout movement in Seattle. Well, that's not him, but this is about him. This is Major Ingram. Here's some kerosene lamps. Bottles probably dug up on the property. That's a mystery bugle. It's found on the beach. Some kitchen items. Scout toilet kit. Hey, look at that tooth extractor. Dentistry hasn't changed very much, has it? First aid equipment. Wow, look at that old first aid kit. That's a drill. Handheld drill from a copper mine. So that's why they call it Copper City. This is the earliest known photo taken at Camp Parsons in July of 1919. And that's one of the first campfires. Not much has changed. Looks like they have mules here. Here's the map of the camp. And the bacon bread in 1925. Hauling wood in 1923. Silver Marmot Grill in 1922. There's a patrol in their army tent in 1923. Wow, check out that crew boat. 1923. Oh, look at the signal tower. That's about 1923. Constance Point, 1923. Here is a photo of Dan Evans, who became our governor as a scout. That was from 1941. The Trapper Nelson packs.
From the 1920s.
Look at the thickness of that climbing rope.
Remember I said black-tailed deer?
Yeah.
That's what they have.
Uh-huh. You're right.
Take a picture of the camping stool that I've got two of, please.
Oh, sure. You want a still of that?
Mr. Lamonica's hiking stools.
And these are from the 1920s?
Yes.
Yeah. Look at that canvas.
Trapper Upper Nelson Pack.
Here's the Kingston Ferry in 1930 unloading Boy Scouts. Wow.
Get a close-up of the bottom deck. See the kids with their packs on?
Let's see. Yes. Right there.
Their campaign hats.
I love those hats.
Until March, so we got to build it March, April, May, basically. June.
It's beautiful, but this stuff like this, you know, if it were a 412 or 512, they'd have anything with it by now. At least the first 5 are already done. We can hop right up here, put this on, and use kind of luxury, like stupid. They'd be alright if you got a roofing contractor coming out, because they're used to it, but when the guys
You know, if I had a rope down there to hook over the edge that I could throw over here and hang on to and set, I'd be a lot.
Well, this is the end of a fantastic 6 months. The troop has chosen to spend some time here and do a lot of work at Camp Parsons, and I'm appreciative of the Joe's Cook Shack. It's amazing. I don't deserve this honor, but I appreciate Matt and Chris and all the rest of the men who worked here, and it's something I'll remember to the day I die. So I appreciate all of it, and wish you all well in the future. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, producer David.